cope with their loss.
Many students started seeing counselors as soon as they arrived for school this morning. Hardest hit is a core group of pupils numbering 50, most of them in Brandon Block's 9th grade class. A team of counselors brought in by the school district met with groups of students all day.
Some may get back to normal quicker than others. You know, some may be ready to step back into the saddle, so to speak, tomorrow. Others, it may be a long, long time.
Police found Brandon Block in the backyard of the suspect's Maple Grove home shortly before noon yesterday. He was dead on arrival from a gunshot wound to the head. Police searched the suspect's home and a neighbor's home 2 lots over. After the shooting, the suspect apparently ran to this house for help. It's still unclear what precipitated the shooting. Investigators aren't sure if it was a deliberate act or a tragic mistake, but police found enough evidence to arrest Block's 15-year-old friend. Both boys were last seen at school, but apparently skipped out. The question of guns is one of many issues students want addressed today. School district officials say they have a zero-tolerance policy. Anyone caught with a weapon on campus gets expelled.
Any kind of weapon in the school will not be tolerated under any circumstance. So we have done what most other school districts have done, tightened the policy considerably.
And yesterday, police also brought in 2 other teenagers for questioning, but late last night, they were released. Randy and Wendy?
Ezra, could they face charges as well?
That is another possibility that investigators are looking at right now. What's been so frustrating for detectives all along, they tell us, is that the accounts, the stories that they're getting from the boys contradict some of the evidence that they found at the scene. Now, police are expecting some lab results back sometime tomorrow morning. Hopefully that'll clear up a couple of issues and help them decide who gets charged and with what.
All right, thank you, Ezra.
In other news tonight, another Minnesota pro athlete is in trouble with the law. This time, it's Timberwolf Marlon Maxey. Police say the 25-year-old forward was arrested early this morning after a police officer spotted him driving this car without the headlights on. The officer ran a check and discovered several warrants for Maxey's arrest due to unpaid parking tickets.
Mr. Maxey was arrested on the warrants, and a subsequent search of his vehicle produced a semi-automatic handgun loaded and uncased under the driver's seat of his vehicle.
Maxey is charged with carrying a handgun without a permit. He was released without bail this afternoon. Maxey's next court appearance is set for June 23rd. This next story takes us to Elk River, where the morning rush hour turned deadly for a motorcyclist there. Police say a flatbed truck apparently slowed down, and the motorcyclist ran into the back of it. That caused another vehicle to slam into the back of the motorcycle. The identity of the victim has not yet been released. No one else was seriously injured in this accident.
It's an old problem, but tonight there is a new fight in solving it. A fight being raged at the Minnesota Supreme Court. As Channel 5's Carrie Miller tells us, it all has to do with airport noise.
Phone conversations were difficult. I mean, I would have to stop and say, hang on, I've got a plane. Okay, what were you saying?
But that was before Tanya Brody's house was soundproofed. Solid doors were put on, insulation was pushed into the walls, even a skylight was double sealed, all so that the maddening, ever-present rumble of planes taking off and landing could be subdued.
I had a girlfriend over here just like a couple weeks ago, right as they were starting this process. She was like this every time a plane went over. She said, how can you stand this?
But not everyone will get the kind of work done on their house that Brody had on hers, which is why some citizens groups are back in the state Supreme Court today, arguing that the Airports Commission should do more to alleviate noise pollution. They want more soundproofing, more buyouts, and even loans to airlines to purchase quieter planes. But that costs money.
Every time a plane lands at the airport, a landing fee is generated. It helps the airport's budget. But to spend money for noise mitigation does exactly the reverse.
Unfortunately, we don't, there's a dichotomy. The airport exists and the people exist. They don't coexist very well, and all we can do about it is try to make their experience a little better, a little at a time.
Now, one of the key issues here is whether the state courts can come in and tell a facility not owned by the state to abide by their rules. That is why this case has possible implications for some 50 other airports all around the country. We'll keep you updated on the situation.
Well, it could be seen for miles. Smoke from a fire at a garbage facility in Mora, Minnesota. That's located about 70 miles north of the Twin Cities. Channel 5's Tom Hauser brought us a first look at this huge fire on midday. He's back live with an update for us. Tom?
Randy, the fire is still smoldering here at the East Central Solid Waste Composting Facility near Mora. No one was injured in this fire, but there were some early concerns that the fire might spread or that smoke from this huge compost heap might be hazardous. The smoke could be seen for miles around the city of Mora. Smoke generated by several tons of compost burning inside a huge processing facility. The first job for firefighters was to make sure the fire didn't spread to a nearly identical building next door.
We took care of the conveyor between the two buildings, kept the fire from getting into the second building, and we just left the other one burn pretty much because it was gone anyway.
Although the smoke was quite thick and drifting, the operator of the facility said the smoke didn't pose a health threat.
Anything that goes in there is municipal solid waste that's been pre-sorted. Anything that could possibly be toxic is not even permitted here at the facility.
Firefighters soaked the compost for several hours to prevent the fire from rekindling. They even added a soapy solution to the water that helps it soak into the piles. The state fire marshal is still trying to determine what it is that caused this fire. So far, about the only thing he's ruled out is an electrical fire. Most of the electricity to the building had been shut off. The only thing left on was contained in a concrete building.
You know, we're looking in the possibility of spontaneous combustion from one of the piles. We know we had a fire here just a day prior, or 2 days prior, that they put out, so they're not sure if that maybe could have rekindled.
To give you some idea of just how intense this fire was, you can see those steel beams that support the roof of this structure. They are all warped and bent every which way because that fire was so hot. This building used to be a composting facility for about 5 counties up in this area. However, the building has been closed since April 30th because it was losing money.
Tom, a tremendous amount of smoke there. Were any homes nearby affected by that?
Not really. It's a pretty isolated area out here, although there is one neighbor who says that he may have smelled some smoke out here as early as 9 o'clock last night. So if it was one of those spontaneous combustion fires, it may have started smoldering last night and then finally erupted into flames this morning, Randy.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Tom. Well, Minnesotans make an emotional return to Normandy.
Channel 5's Michael Gargiulo joins us tonight with the D-Day report that's coming up on Live at 5.
Plus, President Clinton is in Europe talking abortion rights with the Pope. We'll tell you how that went.
And talk about a pressure cooker in Washington. We will update you on the survivors of this year's National Spelling Bee. Next on Live at 5.
Packing up a lot of memories. Wish I could pack up my health insurance. What if I get sick before I get a new job?
Yes, we can make health insurance portable now without the Clinton government-run health care system.
Congress simply needs to change the law so if you lose your job, you won't lose your coverage.
Working together, Republicans and Democrats can fix health care
without a big new bureaucracy.
Let's get it done.
You can brighten the future for millions of hospitalized kids. Just stop by Dairy Queen, a proud sponsor of the Children's Miracle Network, and join them in making a donation. Here's all it takes to make a miracle happen.
This weekend, buy a Blizzard-flavored treat and you'll help a hospitalized child feel better because your participating Dairy Queen store will donate 50 cents to a local hospital for children. We treat kids right. Dairy Queen.
Well, those clouds drifted away sometime early this morning, and it was a gorgeous day.
Mighty fine day. We really lucked out again because high pressure is pushing dry air over Minnesota, and as long as that's in control, we're going to have great weather. Great. And it looks like it'll hang on for at least one more day. Tomorrow is shaping up to be a pretty nice day here in the eastern part of the state as well. As we look at downtown Minneapolis, no, downtown St. Paul. I can't look at Minneapolis this time of evening. Where is the tower cam pointing? Well, right now it's looking at downtown St. Paul. A great afternoon. Plenty of sunshine here in the eastern part of the state, and as I said, dry air is sitting right over Minnesota as we speak. 68 for our temp. Look at that dew point, still at 31, 25% for the relative humidity. An east breeze now at 10 miles per hour, and the barometric pressure is falling at 30.25. How about wetting a line? Bob Davis did that up in Lake Vadnais, up in Vadnais Heights, and a real nice day for that. A little bit chilly, he had a light coat on, and even had some luck, I believe, as Mr. Rudy, our photographer. Oh, yeah, he's pulling in a small little panfish here, a little sunfish. Nice day for that. Tomorrow will be about the same story. A little bit warmer tomorrow. We're going to get some slightly warmer air slide in from the west. Cloud cover, as you can see, high pressure just ate away at the cloud cover over Minnesota. Some high thin clouds raced eastward. Now, this cloud cover is going to try to work its way back into western Minnesota tomorrow, but I think with an east to southeast wind, we're going to keep most of that away from the Twin Cities. That'll push our temperatures up a bit more tomorrow. Upper 60s, lower 70s around the state, 73 for one of the warmer spots at Brainerd, 74 over there in Marshall. And I'm covering up the folks in Wisconsin. Rice Lake right now at 70 and 68 for you folks down in Eau Claire. Temperature-wise tomorrow, as we said, just a tad bit warmer, up to about 76 with plenty of sunshine. The clouds and the moisture should stay out over the Dakotas. It'll gradually try to work its way eastward over the weekend. We're going to get an increasing chance for getting an isolated thunderstorm over the weekend, but no big washout is in store. The Channel 5 forecast for overnight tonight calls for a mostly clear night, low temperature down to about 50, southeast winds 5 to 15. For tomorrow, back up to 76, just partly cloudy skies, southeast winds. As we look ahead, temperatures will start to warm up. And boy, when I say warm up, I mean really warm up. Some isolated thunderstorms. Now, these are not washouts. I know you said maybe bring out an umbrella for the weekend. This is not a washout. It's very similar to what we had last weekend, and a lot of the thunderstorms will be occurring overnight. But 80s and 90s for highs. I think we could touch on 90. And for the Saturday, all the folks that are heading out to their cabin, they might want to know what Saturday looks like. This is the way it's shaping up around the state right now. If we can take a peek at it, temperatures on the Triton. On the Triton. On the Triton. Weekend maps. There we go. 80s for high temperatures, mid-80s right here in the Twin Cities. Lots of sun. The only threat of thunder, I think, will be out in the western part of the state.
Looks good.
It's beautiful.
Looks really nice.
Thanks, Dave.
Sure.
Well, it's anything but smooth spelling in the nation's capital tonight. More than 200 contestants from the 50 states are battling it out to win the 67th National Spelling Bee. 43 students made it to the 6th round today after successfully spelling words like virtuoso and fluorescent. One youngster had to ask for help before heading to the sidelines.
Could you spell the word?
Yes, I can.
By the way, a Minnesota representative, Seth Urt of New Prague, was eliminated from the contest in the 4th round. The National Spelling Bee champ expected to be crowned later tonight.
I think it worked. He almost did spell the word.
Can you spell the word? Next on Live at 5, as the 50th anniversary of D-Day nears, we make an emotional journey back to Normandy.
That's right. We'll visit the American Cemetery at Omaha Beach, where 34 Minnesotans who died on D-Day are buried.
Also ahead, President Clinton talks one-on-one with the Pope about abortion. We'll be back after this.
Buying a used car from a private party is exciting. You read thousands of want ads, make dozens of phone calls, travel hundreds of miles to strange places, meet fascinating people who want to sell you their carefully driven cars they have thoroughly checked out. You carry large amounts of cash, all to get a used car without a warranty. If you don't want that much excitement, go to a new car dealer. Choose from a large selection of carefully inspected used cars they'll stand behind. They'll even take your trade-in. A message from your greater metropolitan automobile dealers.
You ever notice when you buy a washer and dryer, the less you pay, the less you get? Not at Maytag's More for Less sale, featuring our new laundry line. Get a new Maytag washer with $80 worth of extra features at no extra cost. Get a new dryer with $70 worth of features at no extra cost. Plus, save on Maytag refrigerators, ranges, and dishwashers. All backed by famous Maytag dependability, which works out well for everyone. More or less.
At Don's Appliance and TV, 4 Twin City locations, and Hoy Home Furnishing St. Cloud.
Whipping winds, pounding hail, and lightning storm through the Twin Cities.
You can see where the winds just literally ripped it right off its foundation.
Channel 5's Dave Dahl and the Eyewitness News team go on the air with the urgent details you need to know.
Please take cover immediately if you're in North Oaks, Shoreview.
Powerful Doppler Radar 5 pinpoints the path of the storm.
It's moving right over 35E as well.
So you and your family stay safe.
My wife's expecting, so we headed for cover just like Dave told us.
Channel 5 keeps you ahead of the storm like no one else can.
Yesterday on Live at 5, we brought you the first of several stories on the upcoming 50th anniversary of D-Day.
Channel 5's Michael Gargiulo traveled to Normandy Beach, where World War II veterans from around the country, including here in Minnesota, are making an emotional return.
That's right. Michael joins us right now with tonight's story.
It's very emotional to go there. There's a lot of monuments and memorials in the Normandy area, but perhaps none as emotional to the one dedicated to the soldiers who fought in the invasion. The one spot that is the most emotional is the American Cemetery. It's in the town of Colville-sur-Mer on the western coast of France. The cemetery is located right behind Omaha Beach, where American troops landed on D-Day.
tragically beautiful setting just above Omaha Beach, the true cost of D-Day can be reckoned. This is the American cemetery at Coville-sur-Mer. Buried here are more than 9,000 American soldiers, including 240 Minnesotans, 34 of whom died on D-Day. For Minnesotans like paratrooper George Zimsky, who fought and survived D-Day, there is no more sacred place.
One of the reasons we go back, and this might sound kind of corny, but the first thing we do is go to the cemeteries. It's something that is very important to us.
You stand over one of these graves, especially the boys that was in our company or in our division, and you say how lucky you are that you're not lying under the sod there.
It seems overwhelming, even to those with no personal connection to D-Day.
And think about how young they were. We were told that the average age of the American boys in the cemeteries over here and in the war were between 18 and 22.
Their lives ended on June 6, 1944, when they charged from their landing craft or jumped from their planes. Their sacrifice was complete. Their memorial here is eternal.
In addition to the American cemetery, there are also cemeteries for French, British, and German soldiers in Normandy. Coming up tonight at 10, we're going to tell you the story of 2 Minnesotans who were among those 34 Minnesotans who were killed on D-Day and are buried there at Coville-sur-Mer.
Michael, how many Americans lost their lives on D-Day?
There were over 2,000 Americans killed on D-Day, 10,000 Americans total casualties, that's killed, wounded, and reported missing.
What did you feel personally when you were standing in that cemetery?
It is a stunning place to visit. There are a lot of monuments and museums out there, but when you're in there and you look at those crosses and you read the names all face one way, and they don't like you to show pictures of them unless the families allow you to. It's very shattering because you really see young men. Yeah.
18 to 20.
18 to 22.
Puts it in perspective.
Sure does.
Thanks.
Thanks, Michael. And President Clinton is on a European tour as part of the 50th anniversary of D-Day. His tour leads our look at world headlines. In Rome this afternoon, he told a huge crowd that America and Italy are more than mere partners, that we are one family. He says, as sons and daughters of democracy, we must remember the horrors of war and never forget the battles of World War II. Earlier in the day, the President and Mrs. Clinton made a visit to the Vatican to meet with Pope John Paul. After the handshaking and a private meeting, President Clinton emerged to say he and the pontiff made some progress on finding common ground on the abortion issue. However, that's not the way the Vatican sees it. A spokesman says the only way to narrow the difference is for the president to move closer to the church position, which is firm opposition to abortion. So, did the Pope and the President agree on anything? Well, Mr. Clinton says yes, that abortion should not be viewed as a means of birth control.
President Clinton says it is time to start pushing for economic sanctions against North Korea. That long-threatened decision follows a letter from United Nations nuclear inspectors. They say they can no longer tell how much plutonium North Korea has produced in its experimental nuclear programs. The United Nations has to give final agreement to have the sanctions placed against the country.
His arraignment is fast approaching, and tonight there's word Congressman Dan Rostenkowski is having lawyer problems. One source close to Rostenkowski says the Illinois Democrat was irritated when Robert Bennett decided to represent President Clinton as well. Bennett is defending Clinton against a sexual harassment lawsuit. Rostenkowski is fighting a 17-count corruption indictment. And legal sources say Bennett feels Rostenkowski has ignored his advice by refusing to accept a plea bargain.
It was 2 weeks ago Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis was laid to rest, and tonight we know the contents of the former First Lady's will. It leaves most of her estate to her 2 children. It doesn't specify what the estate is worth, except to say it is more than $500,000. Onassis left all of her letters, papers, and documents to Carolyn and John Jr. She asks them to respect her wish for privacy and to see to it that they are never displayed or published.
And finally, we had to tell you about the rescue efforts underway in Kansas City to save a kitty. A pollution control crew found the animal stuck in a 4-inch pipe some 15 feet underground. The kitten is thought to be only a few weeks old. A small camera sent down the pipe shows us a picture of the trapped cat. Rescue workers have tried everything to get the kitty out. They even stuck a pair of pantyhose down the pipe, hoping the kitty would grab on. Well, that didn't work. Latest efforts have the crew digging with a backhoe. All for All for a kitty.
A very much loved kitty.
It must be.
Coming up next on Live at 5 in the Health Capsule, the debate over breast implants.
Plus, it's an easy way to help save a life. We'll tell you about a unique effort underway in a local neighborhood.
And Joe Camel is making news once again. Find out why. Next on Live at 5.
Some things just don't need a date stamped on them to tell you how fresh they are. You can tell how fresh they are just by looking. Not so with Diet Colas, until now. Now Diet Pepsi introduces freshness dating, a date stamped on every Diet Pepsi that guarantees the taste you love will be at the absolute peak of freshness. Freshness dating from Diet Pepsi.
Nobody does it like you, the way that you do. Nobody's got the power to please me.
Now high-traffic areas clean up quickly with the new Hoover Steam Vac. It's not a vacuum cleaner. It washes and extracts dirt and stains. Yet it's as easy to use as an upright cleaner. Deep cleaning, forward and back.
Nobody does it like you.
At Burlington Coat Factory, save on great Father's Day gifts like wrinkle-free cotton pants for only $19.90. Get Dad the best for less.
Tonight at 10, join Eyewitness News as we travel to Normandy, France for special coverage of Minnesotans remembering D-Day 50 years later.
I'm Michael Gorgiulo at the American Cemetery in Normandy, France. The story of Minnesotans who made the ultimate sacrifice on D-Day, coming up tonight.
Don't miss their finest hours. Minnesotans Remember D-Day. Tonight at 10 on Channel 5's Eyewitness News.
Police say Dale Norwick and his lover Cassie Lee were a duo with deadly intentions. Together they planned to find a wealthy husband for Cassie Lee.
She suggested, why don't we go get married?
And together, authorities say they planned to kill him.
There was a plan to collect insurance money from the loss of his life.
Now, Cassie Lee may help cops put Dale behind bars. The Wedding Trap on the next Current Affair.
Tonight at 6:30 on Channel 5.
Leading today's health news, a decision from Washington on the Joe Camel ads.
The Federal Trade Commission won't send the camel packing. The FTC refuses to ban these ads. An anti-smoking coalition wanted to do away with the ads because they feel Joe Camel entices young people to smoke. R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company maintains the ads are for adults. Smoking opponents called the FTC decision a green light to go on targeting children. Half of the states in this country, including here in Minnesota, have also petitioned the FTC to ban these smoking ads.
On such a beautiful evening, the last thing you're probably thinking about doing is donating blood. But blood donations are needed all the time. Today's Doctor of the Day, Herbert Poleski, says blood donations are needed especially during the summer months when donations tend to be down. And as one Edina family found out, you never know when you're going to need blood.
My youngest, my oldest, and my middle somewhere else right there.
This looks like any neighborhood get-together, neighbors and friends having a good time, but this is a unique party. They're helping to save lives. They've come to donate blood. The Memorial Bloodmobile pulled up right in front of Mike McGowan's home in Edina. This is the third year he's invited his neighbors, friends, and relatives to donate blood. When the Bloodmobile leaves tonight, they hope to have collected about 60 units of blood. That's about the same amount of blood Mike's dad, Richard McGowan, needed when the large artery by his heart ruptured.
My father is very fortunate to be alive, number one, and this is our way of paying back what was given to us. Not only through the blood that was given to my father, but the fact that my father is still alive.
The blood centers must have a constant supply of new blood coming in every day. Donations tend to be down in the summertime, and supplies can run low.
One of the problems with blood that I don't think everybody realizes is you can only store it for a short period of time.
So the blood center is excited that a family has taken the initiative to have this neighborhood blood drive.
There's a family that really saw the benefit of the fact that blood was available.
And the McGowans plan to continue having these block parties every year.
We get the satisfaction of knowing that we're in some small way repaying what was given to us. So it's the satisfaction of knowing that we're providing perhaps to someone else so that someone else will live.
And if you would like to take part in this neighborhood blood drive, it runs until 8 o'clock tonight. It's on the 4500 block of Edina Boulevard in Edina.
In Washington, the debate over breast implants. The Food and Drug Administration is considering what to do about saline breast implants. Today, a group of women held a news conference to say that the use of breast implants is a private decision to be made between an informed patient and her doctor. Cindy Wofford held up a graphic picture to show what she would look like had she not been able to have breast implants.
I went through a total of 5 excruciating surgeries. But I can assure you the feelings of self-confidence that I have gotten have been greatly restored. I'm not saying that it is every woman's need to be reconstructed, but I am saying that it's a woman's right to make her own choices.
An estimated 2 million American women have saline breast implants.
Time right now for a check on Wall Street.
The Dow Jones Industrials closed the day down more than a point and trading at 3758.99. Back with the last look at the forecast coming up right after this.
Coming up on World News Tonight, President Clinton meets with the Pope and how the war influenced the music and the music influenced Americans during World War II, the way it was 50 years ago from overseas.
Denny's original Grand Slam breakfast is now just $1.99.
$1.99? Are you out of your mind?
Crazy. You get 2 eggs, 2 fluffy hot cakes, 2 bacon, and 2 sausages for just $1.99.
$1.99? Are you out of your mind?
The Grand Slam, the most famous cooked-to-order breakfast in America, just $1.99.
They usually don't make mistakes here at Denny's.
No mistake. At participating Denny's, the Grand Slam is just $1.99.
Just $1.99. $1.99? Are you out of your mind?
The original Grand Slam for $1.99. How long can this last?
Nobody does it like you, the way that you do. Nobody's got the power to please me.
Now high-traffic areas clean up quickly with the new Hoover Steam Vac. It's not a vacuum cleaner. It washes and extracts dirt and stains. Yet it's as easy to use as an upright cleaner. Deep cleaning, forward and back.
Hoover, nobody does it like you.
Turn your house into your dream home at the Twin Cities' premier home improvement show this weekend at the Minneapolis Convention Center. Check your Twin Cities papers for details.
Only one truck has outsold every other for 17 straight years. Only one truck offers the biggest, most powerful V8 diesel engine. Only one truck offers a super cab with standard driver's side airbag and 24-hour roadside assistance. The complete truck line is Ford F-Series, F-150, 250, and 350. Now, lease a loaded F-150 for just $249 a month for 24 months. Ford F-Series, for the toughest roads and the heaviest loads. See the Truck Authority, your local Northland Ford dealer.
There's more local news ahead at 6. Let's join Angela Astor in the newsroom with a preview.
Wendy, it was crowbars versus computers at one Minnesota school. At 6, you'll see the path of senseless destruction left by vandals north of the Twin Cities. Police need your help to find out who smashed dozens of computers and TV sets. Plus, new shocking details from a Scott County farm where more than 60 cows starved to death despite a barn full of food. Stay tuned at 6 o'clock.
Thanks, Angela.
And a hitchhiker turns into a carjacker. Hear from the local victim tonight at 10. And they're spending less time downtown. See local police take their work to the streets in one Twin Cities suburb. Plus, it only costs $5. But hear how this beautiful sketch bought at a garage sale could bring thousands of dollars to this local art collector. Join us tonight after Primetime Live.
That's an amazing story.
It really is.
It's a good one.
Yes.
All right, Mr.
Forecast
Dahl.
is a good one. I think we can hold that high pressure around for at least one more day, and that's going to keep the thunder away from the Twin Cities at least. And clear skies tonight mean another cool night tonight. Last night's low 45, tonight down to about 50 with lots of clear sky around. No cloud cover even for tomorrow the way it appears. Maybe a few clouds in the afternoon, a high temperature near 76 as we look ahead. Some isolated thunderstorms, a possibility over the weekend, but warming up. 80s and possibly 90 by Sunday.
That would be warm.
It's going to get warm.
Summertime.
Yep.
Thanks.
Sure. Thanks, Dave. And that brings this edition of Live at 5 to a close. Thanks for being here.
See you back here at 6 o'clock. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Be part of the Eyewitness News team. If you see news happening, call the Channel 5 tip line at 5 TV News.
The U.S. threatens sanctions against North Korea. because of its disregard for the